has the potential for 200 plus acres in the next 20 minutes. We have a potential for structures being threatened in the next 20 minutes.
The fire started to burn through one of the wealthiest and most beautiful neighborhoods in the country.
So it's been 2 months since the Eaton fires, and I wanted to do a video about what Altadena is doing to recover from these devastating fires. And I have to tell you, it is pretty shocking what you see around here. There are ghosts of houses with chimneys just standing up and nothing else. Everything is burnt to a crisp. You can still smell smoke everywhere. You see tons of dump trucks over and over and over, taking out hazardous material. In fact, you'll see some of these little signs that say that the hazardous material waste has been removed from a lot of these properties. And some of them, they have not been removed yet. It is really shocking. And I cannot imagine living through this or going through this ordeal. It's pretty scary. But what we're starting to see now is the recovery effort. So I'm standing in front of the very first property that was listed after the fires. It was listed for $600,000. It sold in 3 days for $603,000, most likely to a developer, because anytime you buy land, you usually have to pay cash. And unless you have a lot of cash on hand, most likely it's going to be a developer or a hard money lender who's going to lend to these developers, which just brings up the fact of, what are they going to build here now? Is it going to completely change the entire feel of the neighborhood, the vibe? Are there going to be architectural requirements for these developers? There's so many factors that go into the recovery effort like this, and it's pretty devastating. I cannot even imagine. So my heart goes out to all these people. Most likely, what has happened is a lot of these people either were uninsured. If they're uninsured, then they're just trying to unload their property and get as much as they can out of it. Or they're elderly and they don't want to deal with building for 2 to 3 years. Or they just are done and they put their house on the market. So right now there's 35 properties that are listed for sale right now, and they range anywhere from the high 400s all the way up to 800,000. And we're seeing some sales actually happening already. So there's been 13 sales since the fire. This was the very first one that you saw here, but they range anywhere from 500,000 all the way up to 700,000. So I'm standing on one of the cheapest lots that is currently available here in the Altadena area. It's priced at $475,000, and it's just shocking when you look around this area. Here's that lot, and you look at everything else that has been devastated around it. Now, most of the hazard cleanup has already been completed in this area. That's probably why they were able to put it on the market. But it is just horrific. So the city, in order to help aid in the recovery of the fires, created the Altadena Recovery Commission. And now this is formed by the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, Catherine Barger. Now the goal of this commission is to make sure that the recovery is efficient. They're trying to make sure it's equitable, and they're going to get a lot of community input for this. Most of the residents' main concern is how it's going to be rebuilt and if it's going to be completely gentrifying a historically Black neighborhood. Now, the goal of the commission is to make sure that the recovery is efficient and equitable. Now, this is just my opinion, but I have a feeling that the developers are going to push very, very hard to get what they want because they have more money. And unfortunately, in this country, when you have a lot more money, you get to control what happens.
Now, some good news. The Loma Alta Park, which is a really cherished area in Altadena, is set to reopen on May 10th. The park's restoration is largely funded by a $2.4 million donation from the Fire Aid Benefit Concert, which supported wildfire recovery efforts. So that is a really good thing. And in the month of April, there's going to be a lot of community events where they're asking volunteers to help landscape and paint murals. So if you get a chance to help and participate in the recovery, you can do that in the month of April. Now, if one of your properties was burned in the fire, again, my heart goes out to you and I'm sorry that you're having to go through this disaster. But if you decide that you're not going to rebuild on that property and you want to sell it, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Currently, there's about 40 homes on the market, even more than there were last week. But things are selling very, very quickly. You're seeing on average a week to 2 weeks for these lots to get sold. And most of them are cash. So they will be a pretty quick close if you want to cut your losses and recover as much as you can from those properties. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to go out there, give you an assessment of value, and give you all your options. My name is felipecrook with eXp Realty, investing in your dreams.